YouTube channel for IELTS, and as always I am here with another video that will help you prepare better for your IELTS test. Now just pulling up your comments so that I can see if you have anything to say. All right, yeah, so this particular video is the fourth part of a 6-part series where we are discussing in total 30 idioms that you could use while speaking, and these idioms could help you up your score all the way up to band 9. Now, I said this in all of my previous videos, and I'm going to repeat this again. Scoring band 9 on the basis of these 30 idioms depends more on how well can you actually converse in English. So which means that your basic English has to be good, right, before you get to figure of speech. Because if you can't relay your information in the most basic way in a regular sentence, chances are you would not score any higher than a band 6. So guys, I know we all love memorizing a few words and a few idioms, but before we do so, let's work on getting our basics and our foundation straight and making them strong. Good evening, Hiru. Good evening, Pachu. Welcome to the class. How are the both of you? So, like I said, this is a part of the whole series. So this video, we will be picking up 5 new idioms, and we will be discussing what are their meanings, right? We'll try and understand how did they come about, and then we'll use those in sample sentences as well. Now, before we get to that, just want to very quickly tell you, very quickly within a minute or two, that I am an Unacademy Plus educator. What does that mean? It means that I teach on the Unacademy Plus platform, where educators such as I and a few others, we offer structured and scheduled courses for you to prepare for your test. I have two. One is the grammar course and the other is the IELTS course. Now, what are these and why should you join these, and how will you benefit is something I'll come back to later in the lesson, somewhere a little later in the lesson. Just that this is a subscription based platform, which means you have to pay something to get onto the platform. But if you use my code Manil Live, you get a 10% discount when you subscribe. So we'll come back to that, as I said. Let's first go straight to the 5 idioms and see what they are. Now, these are the idioms that we have already done in the previous lessons, right? So please make sure you're watching those videos as well. And this is where we start today. Now, the idioms that we are looking at today have to do with danger, all right? Idioms that help you express danger, express something which could be very close, right? Risky, dangerous, risky. And the very first one that we have is have a narrow escape. Now, what does this mean? To have a narrow escape means come very, very close to getting affected negatively. Now, this could mean you get physically hurt, or it could also mean that you get mentally affected. Either of the two are possible, right? For example, so let's understand how did it come about. Now, to have a narrow escape, the meaning and the literal sense are almost the same. Usually what happens is, when you look at an idiom, the idiom, when you look at it literally, it has a very different meaning, and when you come to know the actual meaning, you're like, oh, okay, they're not the same. For example, to dodge a bullet, it's not like somebody, fired a bullet at you and you got out of the way. That's not what it means, right? To have a narrow escape is very similar to dodge a bullet. What it means is that, but here almost literally the same, that something came very, very close to you but somehow avoided you. It came very close to you. For example, you're walking on the road, right? And apna India mein it is very common for a bus driver to suddenly turn right or turn left and start overtaking, right, from the left hand side. You are walking, there is no footpath, and this bus driver, like an idiot, comes within 2 inches of hitting you, right? That's a very, very close escape. That's a very narrow escape. Imagine that is how close. So you'll say, oh, I had a narrow escape today. The bus driver of this route passed within a foot of me on this so and so street. Okay, so that is what it means to have a narrow escape. So to use it in one more sample sentence, the students had a narrow escape. Sorry. When the teacher threw the duster at them, but it flew just over their heads, right? Now, this is something that has happened to most of us, right? I mean, yeah, I've heard these days teachers don't do this, but back when I was at school, which was when capital punishment was still okay, right? So we all had dusters flung at us, and on many occasions we had narrow escapes, right? All right, moving on to the next one. So to do something by the skin of your teeth. Now let's look at it carefully. Do your teeth have skin? No, they don't. All right, so you really can't do something by the skin of your teeth, right? But what it means is that it literally means that you managed to do something, like just about managed to do something, right? If for most of the time it looked like that you will not be able to get something done, but at the very last minute you managed to do it. Okay, so the meaning is just about managed to do something. Now, how would I use it in a sample sentence? We could say something like we finished writing, not we, I, right? I mean, I would use I over here. I finished writing task 2 by the skin of my teeth, as just when the buzzer went off, I wrote my last word. I wrote the last word. Okay, so imagine, like, just as the buzzer went off, you finished writing. So the skin of your teeth, just about managed to do something. All right, guys, look, once again, just want to remind you that just memorizing these idioms will not be sufficient. It is important that you improve your English. I can help you improve your English on Unacademy, right? Make sure you guys are downloading the app, registering. There are a lot of free lessons and free videos to watch and attend on the app. And also there are proper structured courses for you to attend through Unacademy Plus, where you pay a small subscription fee, but if you use the code Manil Live, you get a 10% discount. Moving on to our next idiom, which is too close for comfort, which means that something is physically very close to you and is making you uncomfortable. Very common example of this is so Hiru, I do classes on the app where I am able to guide students on how to do the speaking section. All right. So let's say you are in the bus, right, and it is a very hot day, and the bus is completely, filled with people, and there are so many people who are so close to you, and then they are stinking and they're smelling, so you're not comfortable. So they're too close to you for comfort. So that is what it means by too close to comfort. To use it in a sample sentence, this was one example. Another example could be, I think that the man is standing too close, standing very close to that woman, is standing too close for comfort for that woman. A little too close for comfort. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I made a grammar error. I'm so sorry. I think that the man is standing a little too close to that woman for comfort. Too close. Too close to the woman for comfort. All right, let's go on to the next one. Hanging by a thread. Hanging by a thread means that there is a very high possibility of failure. Something is likely to fail, right? I mean, imagine something, there's something, imagine anything, and then imagine that you've managed to hang it to the ceiling with a thread, right? Something which is heavy and hanging by a thread. How likely is it that the thread will break and it will fall to the ground? Very likely, right? So that is what it means to when we say hanging by a thread. So your career is right now hanging by a thread. And you cannot afford to make mistakes. All right, क्योंकि any mistake and the thread will break. All right, coming to give something your all. 1 second, guys. Just sorry, 1 second. All right, give something. Okay, I have landed. Cut things fine. Now that one is the last idiom that we are learning for the today. Sorry, that we are learning for today. And what does it mean? Listening too many lectures are too close for me. No, Pachu, that makes no sense whatsoever. I think, Pachu, you've been attending far too many classes without really learning anything, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to cut things fine on your IELTS test. How do I mean? What you're doing is you are hoping that somehow, without having to incur any expenditure, you learn things on YouTube, right? Without actually having yourself evaluated. Now, to cut things fine means to bring things very, very close, just about probably get it done, probably, all right? And what will happen is, what I mean to say is that when you finally go show up to take your test, where you would have spent a lot of money to first register, you probably will cut things fine on one odd section, say maybe listening, where of course you might probably end up scoring your desired band score, but on the others you are definitely hanging by the thread and chances are things will fall apart, right? So I hope you understood. I used 3 different idioms for you right there. Cut things fine, hanging by a thread, things will fall apart. Guys, I genuinely recommend, please join a proper course, learn English. If you do not know your English, you could try a million things and there is no way you will score anything more than band 6. Band 6 is not acceptable in any decent college or at any decent place. In fact, chances are you won't even score anything higher than band 5.5. All right. So guys, please, like I said, I offer 2 courses on Unacademy Plus, the grammar course and the IELTS course. Most of the test takers need the grammar course. It's not a long course. It's hardly a 3 weeks course. And in that, I do help you improve your English to a very large extent. I recommend that you do it at least twice with me so that you really improve your language and then you can go appear for the test. So what does it mean to cut things fine? Do something just in the nick of time. All right. So so do something just in the nick of time. So for example, just like we did do something by the skin of your teeth, where we said, I gave an example that you did something at the very last moment, right? So do something just in the nick of time. So you are definitely cutting things fine by leaving so late for the airport, right? So the chances are you'll miss your flight. I'm so sorry for the bad handwriting. You are definitely cutting things fine by leaving so late for the airport. All right, guys. No, Pachu, that is absolutely wrong. Once again, that is not what it means, right? So, guys, all right. So those are the 5 idioms that we learned today. Let's have a look at these again. That is hanging by a thread, cut things fine, too close for comfort, do something by the skin of your teeth, and have a narrow escape. Now, there is one more lesson that I'll be conducting today on in this particular series of 30 idioms. So make sure you're joining me for that lesson as well. And like I said, please work on your English, right? IELTS is one of the easiest tests that you'll ever appear for if you know your language. If you don't know your language, there is no way that you can score high on the test, all right? Because it's not like, oh, I can memorize a few questions and then go appear for the test. That never works. And I hope I'll see all of you on Unacademy Plus, right? Until then, guys, keep practicing, not mock tests that will not help you. Keep practicing English. Learn to speak in English. Learn to listen to English, right? Read English. And remember, for IELTS, keep it simple and stick to the basics. Goodbye.